Hello, greetings from Berlin. My name is Christian Henke and I want to welcome everyone who is visiting the IoT Solution World Congress in the digital version. I missed the great event in Barcelona and I'm really hopeful that we can meet up in person in autumn this year. We are currently in the session Digital Transformation and Smart Factory post-COVID-19 era. And the talk I will be presenting is around SASE, the new cloud-based IT security concept and how it can be applied for the Internet of Things. Because this session is recorded, I'm actually able to answer your questions during this presentation. So just type in your questions in the dashboard and you will get an answer right away. And we of course can have prolonged discussions at the EMnify booth after the presentation. Before I start the topic, I just want to give you a little bit of background about myself so that you have an idea who is speaking here. And my journey started in 2005, 2006 with the Technical University and Fraunhofer focus at a research institute. And basically the topic were future internet architectures, so things like network function virtualization, software-defined networks, which is now nice to see that these technologies are really deployed in IT infrastructures. And I was also working on evolved packet calls, the basis for the LTE technology today. And this actually got me a job in Tektronix Communication, which was later acquired by NetScout. And there I started as a product manager responsible for the radio access portfolio. So we were building solutions that made it visible if you had a bad quality call on 2G, 3G or on a 4G network, so that the operators were able to fix their infrastructure or their radio access, the antennas and tilts and everything. In 2018, things like narrowband IoT, LTM and also the first 5G standards were published, and this really caught my interest in the Internet of Things. And then I got a call from EMnify, and the way that they approach cellular connectivity for IoT is quite different from operators, and this is what caught my interest. So then I joined EMnify as a head of product, looking after the product roadmap, making sure that we deliver basically functionalities based on customer requirements. But being in the company, then you're realizing we're German, a lot of technology focused, but missing sometimes the way how we communicate our value to customers. So just since a couple of months, I'm more focusing on product marketing. So I'm learning a lot on how to position the product, how to communicate the product, but also things like storytelling. And I will come to that back in a minute. Okay, that was a little bit of background about myself. So now to the talk. So what am I going to talk about? I will structure it in 5 points. First thing is, what is SASE? What are the benefits? Why is SASE required for the Internet of Things? Some example SASE features for the Internet of Things. And then last but not least, also a little bit of outlook how EMnify is approaching SASE for IoT. So in order to understand SASE, you have to actually understand how was enterprise IT infrastructure built in the past and which challenges arise from that. And enterprise IT infrastructure is kind of built in a star-like topology. So you have the data center of the enterprise in the middle where you have all your databases, all your security concepts, and then you connect all your different branch offices all across the globe to these central data centers. And this is the usual concept, but there has been quite a shift due to software as a service products where you don't have the data anymore in the data center, but you actually offload data to the cloud. So things like Salesforce or Office 365 are now standard products that your workers are using. And I don't have to tell you, of course, also that with the impact of COVID, actually now it's not anymore about branches connecting to this data center, but you have remote workers, like a lot of remote workers that are trying to access the infrastructure. So to explain a little bit of the challenges around this star-like topology, I was thinking I apply a little bit of storytelling as a product marketer to make it more graspable. And, I was thinking about a lot of different things, like how I was waiting to just upload a file on SharePoint, or, friends of mine who were working at public authorities and couldn't work from remote because there was a maximum amount of current remote workers allowed, or even colleagues that have been installing BitTorrent servers in the company network and was not detected. There's a lot of stories I could tell, but let me take it in a different approach. From my personal perception, how data sovereignty actually changed. Yeah, so when I joined this US-based company I was talking about, there was one issue with our mailbox. Yeah, so we always had only 500 megabytes of data storage, and I found this ridiculous. I could at Google Mail a gig, and more than a gig, unlimited storage. And in such a large company, it was not possible to get more than 500 MBs. The solution was actually there. So the US-based company had a new Exchange server installed, but the Workers' Council in Germany said, no, we don't want data to go to the S. And the young as I was like, I don't care. It's the same company. Yeah? We can trust them. We should work together. So just let's make it work. I want to get my email. So, but then just a year later, this guy happened, Eric Snowden, and this changed my perception. Yeah. So when I realized that actually the US was able to spy on our dear Chancellor Angela Merkel, that was kind of scary, actually. Yeah, and the more I worked with customers, I really identified the need to have data sovereignty. Yeah, so people were concerned about how data was stored in Salesforce and then I got a lot of exposure to data processing agreements, and I had to check where is actually this data, where is it stored, and this is crazy. Yeah, so it changed my perception. Now, these challenges, these data sovereignty, but also these latency issues are addressed with SASE. So what is SASE? So SASE stands for Secure Access Service Edge, and it's actually not something that you can buy today, but it's actually a philosophy introduced by Gartner in 2019. And it's basically combining two major concepts. One is software-defined networking, and the other is cloud-based security as a service. Everything about network is like connectivity, software-defined networking, content delivery networks, carriers, VPNs, quality of service. And on the security side, you have firewalls, web gateways, cloud access security brokers, zero trust, DNS. So what the goal of SASE is basically that you can apply the same security standards independent of where someone is based or which services the person or the device is accessing. And all of this is realized by an overarching control and platform that is not local. So let's come to the benefits of SASE. According to Gartner, SASE leads to a reduction of complexity and costs because you don't have any more different providers for your VPN appliances, for your software-defined WAN, for your firewall, for your gateways, but basically you're relying on a single provider. And because you have a single provider, it actually improves your security because you can apply unified security policies independent where your device is located or which data is being accessed from that device. Gartner also says it enables new business models. I'm always a little bit cautious about these, but basically they explain that with this improved security, you can also give better access to your data to partners. You will have lower operational overheads because actually SASE is to be offered as a software as a service. So you don't need any new hardware or software deployments. If a feature is required or comes up, it's actually being deployed from your provider. Naturally, to understand, if you don't have the star-like topology where all the data goes back to the data center, you will have increased network performance and better latency. SASE also enables zero trust network access, so basically giving an automatic end-to-end encryption. And overall, it's ease of use. You just have a single agent on the device, or even agentless, and with that, make sure that your data is secure. With the centralized policy, you basically are able to have local enforcement distributed from all your devices. Now, let's look into the Internet of Things and why SASE is required here. Research by Gartner has shown that 20% of the organization have already been a victim to IoT attacks. Other research shows that well-known IoT attacks, like for example the Mirai bot, is actually increasing by more than 100% per year. And you can see all the different attack vectors hackers are using to get access to the device or to the IoT application. And why they're doing this is because there are so many devices, so many computing resources to be utilized, and often they have limited security policies, and often the owner of these devices, they don't even realize that there is a tampering with the device because they don't see the data. But also, if you look into the setup, it kind of mesmerizes the central setup of the old IT enterprise infrastructure, because you have all these devices that are distributed in a country or even globally, and they are accessing or sending their data to a central data center or a cloud application. One thing that is very important to understand is that the Internet of Things is usually very resource limited, so you don't really have device agents. Unless you have a gateway in between where you can install agents, you usually have small devices with sensors just sending the data out, and securing these devices is quite hard to do if you don't have enough processing power or storage. And with all these devices, it's really hard to have central policies that are applied. You usually have all the security mechanisms in your cloud application where you make sure that only the relevant data is coming in and going out. And you have some type of end-to-end encryption from the device to the application. But if the device opens up a different connection, sends the data somewhere else, it's really hard to detect. So let's look into how SASE could be applied to the Internet of Things with a couple of example features. And here I'm going to focus on cellular IoT. If you look at traditional operator infrastructure, it's really similar to the star-like topology of enterprise IT infrastructure. So if you have a SIM card and you apply it in different continents, actually all the data comes back to the central data center of the operator, which comes with all the different challenges that I have been laying out before. Now, there is a functionality that is called local breakout, which basically allows the device to send the data to the closest application in that region. So the benefits of this local breakout functionality is that you can keep the customer data local, and with that also make it more easy to comply to, for example, data processing agreements. And of course, it also comes with an increased network performance and latency, which actually also has an impact on the battery life. Now, let's look into another functionality of SASE and how it is applied to cellular IoT. So usually, if you use the star-like topology, you are not able to see all the traffic that your device is generating. You just see the data that is going to your cloud application, but if the device accesses any software as a service services or other third-party services like DNS or a payment service provider, this is actually invisible to your cloud infrastructure. And the mechanism that SASE proposes is a cloud access security broker, which directly sits between the user and the cloud application, but also is able to monitor all activities and data paths to other services. And with cellular IoT, you actually already have a great base for that, because the mobile network is always in the path of the device. So if you can have a cloud access security broker with an API that allows you to configure the policies and also enables you to monitor all the data that is passing through, you have a CASB mechanism. And with this, I want to come to the network firewall as a service functionality. So if you have the cloud access security broker within the data path, you can actually enforce policies to all of your devices without having any agent on the device. So here the mobile network actually delivers the possibility to configure, for example, IP whitelisting, so that your devices can only reach certain destinations. So you don't have to worry that the data is sent somewhere where you don't want it to go, or that external entities are reaching the devices without permissions. And this functionality actually gives you a decentralized firewall directly in the data path, and with that improves the securities, because you have a unified security policy that is then locally enforced to your devices. And with this, we come to how EMnify approaches SASE for the Internet of Things. So EMnify is a global connectivity provider dedicated for IoT. With our SIM cards, you get access to more than 540 networks across the globe, and you get to use 2G, 3G, and 4G communication. And we just recently announced the access to LTE in 44 countries. But we truly believe that the connectivity itself is insufficient to efficiently operate an IoT solution. This is why our offer also includes a communication platform as a service to our clients. This communication platform as a service allows you to easily integrate your device and communication data in your cloud services without detours. And the way that we provide SASE functionality is through this communication platform as a service. Key features that we deliver is the local breakout functionality that I was talking about, the cloud access security broker, and its network firewall. You can also build up private DNS services with your devices. The goal that we have is to reduce the operational costs when running an IoT solution. With our EMnify communication platform and a SIM card that works globally, you have the possibility to run your solutions anywhere in the world. With an easy-to-use portal and API and all the visibility you need on your data, you can be assured that your data is secure and safe. If you think that this solution sounds complex and expensive, I can assure you it is easier than you think. You can go to our website, emnify.com, and order some test SIM cards and just start testing. If you want to learn more about cellular for IoT, SASE, or any other thing that I've been talking about, I'm looking forward to a discussion on the booth where I will be after this talk. Or you can also contact me on LinkedIn and we can discuss there. With this, I want to conclude my talk. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed the show, and looking forward for the discussions at the booth. Thank you.